Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as HamiltonRadio.net, Diamonds FM, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosinzia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Mosinzia. It's available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and it's also heard on HamiltonRadio.net, Diamonds FM, Oldies Radio, and a few other networks coming soon. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, and baseball gear and more. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com with the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with an amazing lady who's a best-selling, award-winning queen of children's music, and we're going to talk about that. She's averaged more than 22 plus million monthly streams and also millions of DVDs and CDs sold throughout her career. She began her career in 1992 and performed with her band at Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, the White House, and more. Her debut DVD was the first ever indie children's music DVD to enter the Billboard charts at #1, and first ever performing musical videos on Nick Jr. and also Jack's Big Magic Show. And she's celebrating her 25th anniversary of her release, and she's got a 15, which is coming out in 2022. We'll talk about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plush Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, the best-selling, award-winning queen of children's music, the amazingly multi-talented Laurie Berkner. Laurie, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on board as well, too, Laurie, that you're a best-selling, award-winning queen of children's music. You average more than 22 million monthly listeners and also millions of DVDs and CDs sold. And you began your career in 1992. You performed with your band at Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, the White House, and other areas. Your debut DV hit #1 the Billboard chart in its debut, Straight Up, and you first ever performed music videos on Nick Jr. You also were on Jack's Big Music Show and more. You had some other amazing works as well, too, like Buzz Buzz, Victor Vito, Under a Shady Tree, also Rocket Ship Run, and Superhero, and Waiting for the Elevator, Let's Go, and more. And we're talking about your 25th anniversary of your release of your first album. What do you think of that? And what do you think about that? Just tell us how you first got started.
Sure. When I was just out of college, I had gotten a job as a preschool music teacher, and I loved being around kids and I loved making music. So I thought this will be a great job for me. And then I went in and realized I did not know how to talk to kids who were in preschool.
Oh,
I felt
no.
it was like they were speaking another language, and I had to kind of remind myself what I really dig deep into my own memories to remember being that age, whatever I could remember. Certainly I couldn't remember all of it, and do a lot of listening. So I started, I thought I was doing a good thing by bringing in songs and trying to sing with them. But a lot of times they told me that they had heard those songs many times, like Old MacDonald and other music like that. And so eventually I just asked them what they wanted to sing about. And I started to write songs with their ideas. And that was when things turned around. And that was how I wrote We Are the Dinosaurs, which is the first song on What Do You Think of That? And continues to be one of my kind of hits, I guess, to this day.
That's really interesting. And tell us about the transition going from a preschool music teacher to doing what you're doing full time.
Right. So I eventually started recording some of the songs that I was singing with them. Some of them were traditional songs that we kind of changed together, and some of them were like We Are the Dinosaurs songs that I had written. And I did it mostly because I thought it would be fun for the kids to have it at home, but also because their parents said that they didn't know what these songs were that the kids were singing. So those kids started taking that. It was a cassette tape at the time, which was What Do You Think of That? Taking it home. The parents bought them and I sold them much more quickly than I thought I would. So
Wow.
I made more. And yeah, after a few months I had sold, it was not, I had made 500, but I sold them all in the first few months because I had a lot of kids I was teaching, a lot of families. And then I also had started performing at birthday parties. And so parents would say, hey, bring 10 of those tapes with you and we'll put them in the goodie bag. And then those kids would go home with the goodie bags and a cassette tape with the songs. And then those parents who didn't know me would call and say, hey, could you come to my kid's birthday party and bring 20 of those tapes with you? And so it grew that way. And by the following year, I realized I had more songs because I had been just making them up to try to keep my job interesting and keep the kids engaged at school. At the preschool where I worked. And then I eventually started working in daycares and a lot of different settings and teaching classes. So I had a couple hundred kids that I was seeing every week. So I was making up songs a lot. So by the following year, I made another album. That was Buzz Buzz. And I kept, and that year I thought, gosh, how am I going to keep track of this? Do I have to pay taxes on this stuff? Like, how does it work?
Hey, a children's song's about taxes. That's another challenge for you.
Right. That is right. So I started my record label then, Two Tomatoes Records. That was in 98, the year that I did Buzz Buzz. It was just a doing business as, it was really just out of my apartment. It was some years later that I actually incorporated, but that was when I started to actually think, oh, I guess maybe I'm doing something here. Like at the time, making a website was a pretty big deal. It was sort of lots of things were new with the internet. People in the This was 98. In the mid 90s, nobody even really had an email address except people who were like really techno savvy. And
I remember those days. Yes. Or it's like the internet's like beep, beep. It's like, what are you going to get off the phone? Need to make a call.
Exactly. And I had started out with an 888 number, instead of like a website. So I eventually realized, I think I need to build a website. And now I have this little like self-run record label that was my business. And in the next year, I put out another album. And by then I thought, you know what, this is taking a lot of energy and time, and it's working. Like, people are buying these, and I'm getting journalists to review them. And I'm starting to sell them in stores there were lots of, anyway, there are many stories, but eventually I just ended up letting go of the teaching and focusing full time on doing, the kids' music. And a lot of the concerts grew out of that too. The more people that knew who I was or had the albums. Eventually, I then also did get this, a couple of opportunities. One was to be on the Today Show back in the early 2000s, because someone had a kid who had a birthday party and got one of my CDs in their goodie bag, and their mom worked at the Today Show, and she pitched me and said, there's this great kids musician. We should have her perform in the plaza. It'd be really cool. And I had also done some fancy part, like Madonna's daughter, Lola, and Sting's son. Yeah, it was just sort of that New York, like people talking and sharing the music, basically. So I had something to kind of hook that, to make it seem like I was a little fancier. And so they put me on the plaza, and that led to me meeting somebody who some years later, all of these took years, I ended up on Jack's Big Music Show. And each of those steps broadened my ability to reach people and sort of turned what used to just be making up songs with the kids in a classroom into writing them, performing, making videos, doing concerts, making, albums and books and all the things that I've been doing now.
That's rather interesting. I thought on the Today Show, you threw a big kids party or something. So
it would have been like that. What was funny is that this woman, I don't even know what her name was. I wish I remembered her name. I only met her briefly, but she pitched me to the executive producer and got turned down. And then that guy left, and she pitched me again. I didn't even know her. She just was so generous of her. And anyway, she pitched me to the replacement, and the replacement said, "Oh yeah, I've been to parties on the Upper West Side. I know who Laurie Berkner is.
That's wild.
Let's get her on the show and let's do a bio." I don't know if he was the one who decided, but they did like a little biography of things I had done and, pictures. And so they really turned it into a beautiful little piece. And we played a couple of songs throughout the show, and people wore pigs on their head, which is the guys, who were like doing the cameras, like they'd turn around and you see the camera guy and he's got a pig on his head. And so we had a lot of fun with it.
It sounded like a lot of fun. I wish I had a pig on my head if I thought about it too. I had to sell for cheese or a cat or, dog, whatever it is. I should have thought of that a little more creative. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career? So what was that one moment, whether it's in school or a party or anything like that simply said to you like a light bulb, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
I don't know if that exactly happened, but I do remember I used to play in a bunch of adult bands before I was, while I was still in the middle of birthday parties and teaching and stuff. I was playing at night a band of my own that was original music, but I was also in this cover band called Lois Lane, and it was all female cover band, and we played on Long Island a lot. And we would play these very late, many hour long shows. So it was before in the morning, I'd be coming home. And I remember towards the end of one of those shows, I was not feeling well. And I had been up until 4. I drove back. I drove Susie Lampert, who was the keyboardist who plays with me in the Laurie Berkner band and has for 20 or 30 years, she was in Lois Lane with me, and I snagged her, and I drove her home. I carry my amplifier up a bunch of stairs, fall into bed smelling like cigarettes from the people at the bar where we had played. And then I had to get up a few hours later and go do a birthday party at Battery Park downtown. And it was a beautiful day. And it was outside on this just like lush green grass, families happily singing, yelling, "Play Victor Vito, play Buzz Buzz." And I thought last night, I thought it was going to be horrible because I didn't feel well, but I was like, last night I felt so sick and people were yelling "Freebird" at me and like telling me to, play more solos and, and smoking in my face and being very unpleasant and drunk. And I thought, I don't want to do that anymore. I would much rather be doing this. It's so much more fun. Everybody here is like having a good time and they're joyful. And like my music is bringing out this feeling of happiness and love in these families. And they like the things that I write. Like this is what I need to be doing. So that's when I quit the band. And I think that was a pretty strong kind of a light bulb moment for me.
I think so too. I thought the kids were singing "Free Bird" as well too, and you can talk about the music as well too. We'll talk about some of your other music like "Buzz Buzz," "Let's Go," and more. And about your first album, more about the what do you think of that? But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries. Also on HamiltonRadio.net, Oldies FM, Diamonds Radio, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. For great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. For great books, merchandise, and more, Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Make sure you check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing, best-selling, award-winning queen of children's music, Laurie Berkner, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a great foundation. We heard about how she got into children's music and everything else. And let's talk about your 25th anniversary release of the first album. What do you think of that? We covered it a little bit and maybe a bit more. And I guess with some of the songs you mentioned, it's like, how the songs come about. Was it just like something you see you want to write about, or something in your head, like instances, like say with the Cat Come Back, I Know a Chicken, We Are the Dinosaurs, or maybe like tell us a bit about it. And it's like, what inspired you to write? It's like something you saw, something you heard, or anything like that. It was just like a little thought like that, like most people.
Sure. Well, like I mentioned before with We Are the Dinosaurs, I literally asked the kids, what do you feel like? What do you want to sing about today? And one, I think it was a little boy, he just yelled dinosaurs. And then the whole rest of the class said, yeah, dinosaurs. So I said, great, everybody stand up. Let's be dinosaurs. And I just started playing in a minor key and kind of marching beat. Ba-dum, 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 bum, bum. And I said, okay, we're going to stomp and march around and be dinosaurs. And as we stomped and marched around, they started to roar and scratch at each other. And I thought, oh no, this could end up where somebody gets hurt. So then I said, stop and take a rest, stop and eat your food on the ground. And then everybody got on the ground, started pretending to eat. So that worked great. Then so we stopped and marched again. And then the same thing happened and I had them take a rest. And so, it just sort of evolved as I was watching them and seeing how long it took before it devolved into, kind of facing and being more aggressive towards each other rather than just allowing themselves to feel that inside. And I think, it just, like I said, it kind of evolved that way. So some of the other songs, The Cat Came Back is actually an old song from, I think it's 1917. And it was something that I had heard when I was a kid that I loved. I'm pretty sure I heard it was Fred Penner who I heard singing it. And so I put a few of my own spin on some of the lyrics, but I loved it so much. It was really fun to bring that out with the kids. And that one worked really well. And I Know a Chicken. That one. Oh,
you're making me hungry when you're talking about foods. Like, let's get some food. And yeah, I know a chicken, and chickens are hungry, and so are we.
Well, this is actually more about the live kind of chicken who lays an egg, because the kids would have these little shaky shakers that were shaped like eggs, which is also a really great size for very small hands. So it's a kind of an instrument that most kids at any age could play. And so I thought it would be fun just to make up a song and play on the idea of the shakers being shaped like eggs. And so it's sort of a blues song about a chicken and with a call and response where the kids sing back to me and they can shake fast and slow. And they just really loved doing all of those different kinds of movements. So that was also one that I just kind of made up while I was sitting there with them thinking about what might make the day more fun.
That's really interesting as well, too. And you also had Under a Shady Tree, Rocket Ship Run, Superhero, and Waiting for the Elevator. And you also had Let's Go as well, too. And tell us about some of those releases. And if you got some other releases, feel free to mention as well.
Sure. Right. So the first three that came out pretty quickly were, like I said, What Do You Think of That? Buzz Buzz and Victor Vito. And then a few years later, I put out Under a Shady Tree, and by then I wasn't teaching anymore. So I wasn't writing as often. So I waited a few years, and a lot was also happening in my career was actually becoming something where I was a kids music artist instead of a music specialist or teacher. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I took a while off because I had my daughter. So I have one child and she's 17 now, but I had her when I put out Rocket Ship Run, I think she was about 3. Wow. And so some of those songs were songs I wrote as she was growing. And after that came Superhero and Waiting for the Elevator and Party Day, which was a DVD where I wrote some songs for it about having a birthday party, which, as you know, I knew a lot about. Mm-hmm. And then I released Let's Go during the pandemic. And in between, I have I put out an album called Laurie Berkner's Favorite Classic Kids Songs. So that was covers of like 50 well-known kids songs and a Christmas album. And this year, the 15th album is going to be another Christmas album.
And that's going to be amazing as well, too. And during the pandemic, instead of having concerts or parties you go to, it's like you also have them in the home as well, too. And they're quite revolutionary.
Yeah, that was a special time. I mean, I feel so grateful that something so positive came out of such a not positive time, which was having these Facebook Lives that we did. I did a lot of them, at least weekly on the weekdays on a daily basis in the first few months of the pandemic when kids were home and just didn't have access to music class. And it became a very kind of familiar and consistent place, I think, for the kids to see my face and to know that I was going to always start with a certain song and end with a certain song and play songs that would allow them to use their imaginations and move around and that I just, cared and kept coming back. So that was really fun. And then we started doing once a month online, birthday parties where basically I would do shout outs for kids who had birthdays in that month so that they could feel like they were being celebrated, because so many kids weren't able to have birthday parties during, especially that first year. So we did that for a year. And then I started to turn them into both of those things into more real full length concerts where we had a lot of graphics and special guests and games interaction during the shows, that were like actual live stream concert events. And that was really very fun. So I kind of wish, we talk about sometimes doing those still because I can't get everywhere. Like when I do a concert, I have to fly there, and a lot of places I may not get an offer for a concert in a certain venue or a certain state. So the live stream was a place where people in any country could watch, or in any state. And that was a really nice thing. I just, at this point, don't know if we would get enough people watching that I would be able to actually do it financially. But I hope that we can do some of those again.
Now, do you still get offers to do birthday parties still?
I do. Yeah. Sometimes people call, and if they're, basically if they're willing to put on a concert in their home, I'll come and do it. Otherwise I tend to not do them so much anymore because it's just not really what I do anymore. I mostly do concerts.
Right. Yeah. It just made me think of birthday parties, and you're known for that and whatever else. What was like the most unusual birthday party you've done? What was like the most memorable you've done?
Oh, that's a good question. Unusual. It
can be good.
Yeah, I think I did play one in Westchester once where they they had an enormous piece of land. I was going to say a yard, but it was much bigger than a yard. And they actually brought in amusement park rides.
Wow.
To the house. Yeah. And then I put on a show there. Actually, I've done a couple like that. I actually did one more like that more recently as well, but there was something about that one where some of the rides were like full on, Ferris wheel kind of like big machines with like airplanes going around in a circle, and just like it was as if you were in an amusement park. It was pretty.
I think what you're talking about with the airplanes, the merry-go-round, the tilt-a-whirl, and bumper car.
It was
it's like your typical county fair.
It was like a fair, exactly, but it was at somebody's home, so that was pretty memorable.
Now, I'm sure they'll probably ask you to go on a ride. It's like, can you ride this pony? Get on a ride with me. It's like you probably get a request for that. So,
well, that would be fun. I've done a lot that have pony rides, but there was something about this one, like bringing in those gigantic pieces of equipment was pretty unusual.
And that is rather interesting too. And we'll talk about your upcoming release for 2022 in just 1 minute. We're with Laurie Berkner. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's Of Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the best-selling, award-winning queen of children's music, Laurie Berkner, after this time.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with best-selling award-winning Queen of Children's Music, Laurie Berkner, here on The Mike Wagner Show. And you got your 15th album to be released in October 2022. And tell us a bit about it, like a sneak peek.
Yeah, so it's called Another Laurie Berkner Christmas because my first Christmas album was a Laurie Berkner Christmas. So I'm working on recording some traditional songs. I've written a few new ones, and I have a couple special guests who are going to be on there. I'm excited about that I'm not going to share quite yet. But yeah, it's going to be hopefully another joyful and fun to listen to with the whole family Christmas album.
And it sounds like it too, and we're looking forward to that. And what else can you expect from you in 2022 and beyond, Laurie?
Yeah, I'm working on lots of different things, always writing new music. So there'll be more of that coming out and beyond the Christmas stuff. And we will be continuing to celebrate the 25th anniversary of What Do You Think of That all year long. So just keep your eyes peeled for different things that we're doing. We do have that album. I actually remastered it. And so it's out now. You can listen to it in a higher quality streaming. It was originally done on 1-inch reel-to-reel tape.
I remember that. The good old analog. I think people are still craving that these days. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I first recorded that album. So we went in and cleaned it up a little bit. And also we'll be using that for its release on vinyl. It never was on an actual record. I started on cassette and then made it into a CD. And then of course streaming happened. So now it's mostly MP3s, but we're going to put it out on vinyl. You can actually already pre-order it, but it's coming out in the fall. And when I did my first cassette tapes, I color coded them for the kids. So what do you think of that? I made it yellow, the tape itself. And then Buzz Buzz was, I think it was red and Victor Vito was blue. And so that when a child saw the cassette lying on the floor or something, they would know which one was the one that had the song that they wanted just by the color, and they could pop it into their cassette player. So because I did that, we decided to make the actual record for What Do You Think of That is yellow to mimic.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really pleased about.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And so many of us as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, man, that's hard. I mean, I love so many musicians, but it's funny. I actually think it may have been this woman who was the music teacher at where I got that first job, which was at Rockefeller University at their Child and Family Center. The woman who had the job before me, her name was Ruth Alperson. She was the music specialist. And I remember when I said I didn't know how to sing with those kids or even what they were talking about, how to talk to them, I actually went and I observed her, and I watched her just sit at a piano, and the kids would get up and dance and sit down and do everything that she asked them to. And they looked like they were having so much fun, and it was so musical. And I went up to her afterwards and I said, when I try to do that, the kids just run around the room screaming. What is your secret? And she said, stop trying to tell them what to do and put it in the music. Just don't talk so much. And that, just thinking about what I'm encouraging them to do with their bodies and things that I want to help them learn, thinking about putting that into my writing instead of trying to tell it to them and then singing a song together, that completely changed how I thought about writing music when I was thinking about writing for kids. So I would say she was probably the biggest influence on me.
That is very interesting. We'll have to keep that in mind for all you teachers out there. It's something to apply to. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I always think that the most important thing is just to notice what it is that you love and feel good and happy doing, and then follow that and try and make that part of your life. I imagine you have done that too, Mike. I mean, I can see you seem very comfortable behind a microphone, and you've created this career for yourself where you're doing podcasts and interviewing people. What do you think? Does that resonate with you?
You know something? I have to say one thing. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I think you just spoke to me. Thank you very much. I just wish my kids had you as a teacher as well, too. So, I mean, you just hit it out of the park. I got to say that. So that was amazing. And thank you very much. We're here with Laurie Berkner of 25th anniversary of the first album. What do you think of that on the Mike Wagner Show? The best-selling, award-winning queen of children's music. Laurie, big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your music?
Sure. My website's laurieberkner.com. It's LaurieBerkner. And you can find out everything about where I'm putting on concerts, what we're releasing, fun t-shirts, buy music, listen to things, watch videos through there. Another great resource is the Laurie Berkner Band channel on YouTube. I have so many videos, and feel really proud of them. We just put out a video for I Know a Chicken with that original recording a couple of weeks ago. So that's a fun one to look for. And I'll be performing live again now that it seems safe. So hopefully I'll continue to do that for a while. And again, we have the remastered version of What Do You Think of That is out. It's going to be out on vinyl in the fall. You can pre-order that on the website as well. And can always do things like I do personalized videos through Cameo, and I have the Christmas album coming out at the end of this year.
We're certainly looking forward to it. Laurie, you got a lot going on. This is great. Again, Laurie, a big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love having you back. We wish you all the best. You definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thanks, Mike.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mohsen-Zia of Missing, and powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms, and of course on the MikeWagnerShow.com, HamiltonRadio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at themikewagnershow.com. Thanks for listening.